Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. This week we're looking at a Tamiya Volvo FH12, one of the older kits but still a really nice build. It's my dad's truck and he's built the chassis up over the last few months. He's retired and never really in much of a hurry. And well, last month he asked me to paint up the cab and install a few extra LEDs. Spinning the truck round we can see the silver tanks. These are the kit parts that have been painted, along with the red tank in the middle. Quite easy to do, but really lifts the otherwise purely black rear end. For the coupler, it's all stock at the moment, but it's going to get a servo release at some point in the future. On the side, we can see the running lights on the side skirts. Stock, they're little rectangles that stick up from the surface with a sticker, which isn't great. The lights really should light up. So now we have two straw hat 5mm LEDs, maybe a little bit big scale wise, 3mm might have been better, but when there's some electronics to drive them, they will actually light up. You can also see the downside of the stock Tamiya fuel tank. It's got a mount moulded in it for the big Tamiya power switch they use on the ESCs, but it could be worse though. Spinning back around to the front and we can almost see the extra lights behind the grille, just above the two highlights in the third slot down. There's two 5mm rectangle yellow LEDs just poking through. Other than the end, they've been painted black, so when they're not lit they really are quite hard to see. They're going to be used for flashing beacons, so the lighting isn't quite so static. At the top of the roof we had some more stickers where lights should be, little pods in the corners. So I drilled them out just enough to fit an 0805 surface mount LED, and I just squeezed a 1mm hole into the roof just beside the mounting posts for the wires to run. It's all a bit tight, but it does work. They still need a spot of optical epoxy to make them look a bit more like lenses, and of course to protect the LEDs as they are a bit vulnerable at the moment. Under the windscreen we haven't fitted the wipers and the handles just yet, as they're going to cover up the lower mounting screws for the window. Important, as the window tint is way too dark. You'd never know it, but there's a dashboard, two seats and a driver hiding in there. If we turn off the lights and use a torch, we can just about make him out. If you want to hide a spaghetti style wiring harness, it's quite useful, or if you've got an MFC taking up all the space. But we want to see the driver, so at some point the windows are going to come out and be replaced with clear plastic. It would be nice to find a window kit, but some 1.5mm sheet will work too. Okay, now if we remove the front bumper with its two screws, pull the body clip at the back and remove the two front mounting screws, we can lift the cab off and have a look inside. The first thing that jumps out is the 2.5-inch speaker at the top. It's fitted to a 3D printed mount. That means there's no mods to the Tamiya plastic. It just uses the 4 holes already there to mount to. The roof box has also been filled with wadding to just help the sound a bit. You can also see the wiring for the beacons along with the bottom of the driver's feet. And in the back corners there's the wiring for the roof lights and the speaker. It's all ready to connect up to whatever electronics end up getting fitted. Back to the chassis while the cab's off, and we can see the FlySky 8-channel receiver. It's been modified by adding a little microcontroller, an MSP430, so it outputs a PPM stream on the battery connection signal pin. That way there will be a single connection to whatever controls the lights and sound. Otherwise it's a bog standard 3-channel setup for now. We've got steering, the ESC and the gears. If we look under the chassis, it's all pretty standard. He's using a 2S LiPo, but otherwise it's got a basic pair of servos, metal gear for the steering, and I think plastic for the gears. The main issue under here are the stock Tamiya ball ends used in the steering. It's all a bit wobbly, so they'll probably get replaced with some nicer ones at some point so the truck actually goes in a straight line. With the cab back on, we can give it a quick test. For a transmitter, he's got a GT3B that's been modified to have 8 channels. Quite a good radio for the money. When the radio and truck are turned on, we can give the trigger a very gentle squeeze. Now for the motor, the truck has an 80 turn 540, so it does really rather well at low speed. The ESC still needs setting up, so it is going to improve even more once the drive frequency is turned up. But even so, it runs rather nicely. Next, just for fun, let's bring in another similar truck, a Hercules Hobby Actros. more or less exactly the same as the Tamiya Actros. Now, it's interesting to see just how much bigger they look, even though they are of course almost exactly the same size as the FH12. The chassis and wheels are all but identical. The Actros is just a bit taller and it's a bit longer in the front. It's quite neat how Tamiya managed to make a very different looking truck with the same underpinnings. Either way, I think Dad's quite pleased with the truck so far. He wanted something a bit more manoeuvrable than his MAN TGX 6x4 and his night hauler, so I think it's going to be ideal. Especially after a bit of work on the steering, it should all but turn on the spot. You'll probably see the truck again in a few months for an update. This will probably be in the background here and there too. Right, well, as I said last week, hopefully we're going to get back to the sand scorcher next time. But looking at the weather forecast, we got lots of rain incoming, so painting might still be a bit tricky. And that's the main thing to do to finish the kit. But we'll come up with something, I'm sure. Anyway, until then, thanks for watching. Like if you like, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment if there's something on your mind. Bye guys!